she can afford to buy petrol and warm her generator.
Also, you cannot be saying this on air.
Honestly,
do you want me to cry?
That's how I want you to relax.
Do you want me to cry?
Don't. We shall make a contribution. There will be charity for you. Charity for you to make sure you feed your eyes. Honestly, I know you'll be missing your sprints.
Of course, I will.
All right, my friend agrees. So
hopefully the strike finishes with a compromise. I'm not saying that the strike should just go off. They should just call the strike off, but there should be an agreement
from both sides.
Yes, that will favor both sides. That's what I'm rooting for right now. It's not just for them to call off the strike, for it to be over, and we know that the people have won and the government too is also on the winning side. That's what I'm rooting for right now, to be honest.
No, we're not waiting for the victor or the vanquished. They should shift grounds and let's see how they can accommodate the ordinary Nigerians. And we shouldn't be talking alone. My friend is here, Otuekong, opposite me. Otuekong, good morning.
Oselo, it's a wonderful morning. Sharon,
good morning
it's
to
a good
you.
day. I just want to remind everybody that
Happy
Jesus
New
is still
Month. Happy New Month.
Jesus is still
we know what you want to say. Happy New Month.
You say it's a wonderful day. What makes it wonderful, this right?
Whatever situation one finds itself, like experts will say, some psychologists will say, that what happens is 60% or 80% is what happens, how you respond, 20% is what happens from outside. So we are facing a lot of challenges in the country, certainly, but by the special grace of God, I do believe that Nigerians will overcome these challenges going forward.
Well, how is it in your area? Are people going to work, or what's the situation like where you're coming from?
Well, I think I passed through the state secretariat, and what I saw there, I saw they were gathering cars parked. The union were addressing their members just by the entrance of the Idomesenkana secretariat. So I think the spirit of the strike, virtually all the unions are involved in this strike. And the one that touches me most is the petroleum people, the marketers or something, not marketers, most of those people involved in the downstream sector. I think they're involved in the strike, and it may likely impact on the prices of petroleum. Our marketers, they love, exploiting these opportunities like this, just to hold on to the whatever reserve they have. So that is the challenges. That is where I'm worried. But I think the strike has certainly taken hold because of maybe the way the leadership of the country is reacting or handling this matter. It does not inspire confidence in the hearts of Nigerians and the way they're handling it. That is a challenge.
Yes, it's quite challenging to be in a situation like this. Otuekong, do you agree that the strike is timely?
I would say, Labour, knowing the way Nigerian Labour Congress is, I think they have actually waited too long. The time frame expired, was it last month or April? I think it is statutory that every 5 years there will be a review of the salary, and at this time it is extremely necessary. And the government that keeps on stalling. I think there was a time Ajero and his team were supposed to meet the president or so, and it took them months before that meeting could be held, because those representing the government hardly came out. The men will go, the leadership of the NSC will go to the presidency, wait for hours, and nobody will come out to meet them. And we've heard what the president has said to Labour, to Ajero himself. Very condescending approach to the challenges of Labour, telling the man if he wants to contest, wants to become a politician, he should be. He should buy his form. And it's extremely wrong. It came out from the mouth of Mr. President himself, not it. So that should tell you how the feeling of those in power towards the demands of Labour. They don't value whatever Labour is coming up with.
Okay, Otuekong, do you agree with certain Nigerians are saying that give it a few hours, the Labour would bend, or would fold, that with the pattern in which some of those strike actions have handled itself in the past, it's going to be a matter of time before we hear, after a closed door meeting, the Labour has called off the strike. Would you say that this is how, do you foresee that kind of outcome at this point?
I would not be surprised if such an event, looking at the antecedent of this current leadership of Labour, even though they seem to be a little poor, but going by what we have seen over time, even when the Labour leader was severely beaten, I mean, they simply, after a day, the strike was called off, and nothing they didn't actually get, except maybe Ajero himself must have gotten something. This is what Nigerians are. You know, Nigeria is a place where you have a lot of conspiracy theories. So if Labour capitulates, I won't be surprised. But I'm quite aware that the Senate president met with Labour. There was some kind of give and take, but the TUC leader came out to say that he will not take that singular decision, or they will not sit down with the Senate president and say we are going to call off the strike. It has to go back to the different unions. The Labour, the TUC, and the NSC is not just one body. There are different unions in that one organization. So they need to go back there and then discuss with other unions, with their members, and see their position, how to come up with something that could be beneficial to everybody. So it looks a little bit better than what we saw. Maybe one could say that Ajero, who just came into office not too long ago, was actually learning the ropes. That is why he took those decisions, because it was so suspicious that he just met with the, you call a strike, and in just a day you call off that strike. He didn't even tell the leadership of the country, look, let me go back to my people, like the TUC president has said, negotiate with them, and you tell them, okay, look, by Monday or by Friday we are going to give you a reply, and you say by Monday we'll call off the strike. When you look, you make it seem as if you're so cheap, you're so easily beaten. It did not inspire confidence, and that is why people are saying that, look, this strike, they are saying, in fact today I heard somebody say, hey, they are just going to call the strike like they normally do, and very soon the man will go and collect something and everything will just scatter. That the strike is meaningless. You see the point? So, but maybe the man was just learning the ropes, and he has been a high level member of the NSC, but he has not been on the leadership seat. So now he's sitting there, and he may have made one or two mistakes. Let us see if he's going to hold on to this one and get something useful for workers.
All right, the workers are still anticipating take-home wage right now. People say, considering this soaring prices of goods and services, and the government thinking of upwardly reviewing the wages of workers alongside the current impasse, don't you think it's likely to approach Nigeria shortly?
What if we have to say this increase in salaries would create hyperinflation? Why has the monies that are paying to politicians, ministers, we have more ministers than we have almost 100 ministers, and each of those ministers go with convoys, a minimum of 20 vehicles with a lot of staffs. Why we are paying so much to members of the National Assembly? In fact, Nigeria would borrow money from abroad that our children are going to pay, and they would now take this money and give it to members of the National Assembly. And why has it not caused the inflation that we are wondering that this payment of salaries to these staffs of the civil service and any other will cause inflation? I do believe that if the problem of Nigerian economy cannot be attributed to the salaries of workers, it should not be attributed to increment in the salaries of workers. It is absolutely wrong for us to have that thinking, and it is only politicians who are benefiting from this unfair payment structure who are making this statement. You understand me? Now look if you compare what the Nigerian worker is taking home every single month compare it with even other West African countries, West African countries in the immediate consideration, I will tell you that we are the lowest paid in the world. When you look at measure it, dollarize the payment. Let me use that term. You understand me? So it cannot do it. The reason Nigeria, the dollar is rising against the naira is simply because politicians have dollarized our economy. We are importing more than we are exporting. We are not producing. We are simply a service economy. We are simply a consuming economy. If you can get our industrial sector back on stream, I do believe that we get out of this wood. You see the point? So we cannot put it the burden of responsibility on the salary structure of workers.
All right, Utoko, considering what your earlier response to my question, the previous question I asked, would you say that if this pulls through, the strike goes on until the federal government does something about it, about the minimum wage, maybe probably calls for a meeting, and eventually a new minimum wage is agreed upon, and this strike yields the expected outcome, would you say that this would boost the confidence that the workers have lost in the organized labor?
You know, it's like in football we hear analysts will tell you goal is power. You know, getting something positive from the Nigerian government is like scoring a goal in a football match. It energizes the winning team, the team that scored. You understand? So I do believe that right now, if you test the trust perception index of Nigerians in relations to labor, the labor leadership, you see that it is very close to zero. As much as Nigerians are sympathizing with whatever challenges labor is facing at the moment, but Nigerians do not trust. Even from the days of Oshomole, a lot of people keep on wondering, where did Oshomole get money to contest the election? You see the point? Because stories, you know, like I said, Nigeria is, because of opaqueness of how government operates, you have a lot of conspiracy theories flying around. A lot of fingers used to be pointed at Senator Adams Oshomole when he was the labor leader, that he was working with the labor union in the afternoon, and in the night he would go to bed with the government. And the end result was that he had so much money. He's a teller. Where did he get money? Governor of Edo State, you know, for 8 years. Where did he get that money? That's why a lot of people say. So you see, and again too, you look at the fact that we have a government that consistently compromises labor, you know, by undermining the integrity of labor leadership. And at the end of the day, a lot of people know this. People whisper about what is happening. The only labor union in this country that Nigerians have seen that stands on its feet, like somebody said sometime, that this labor union at the end of the meeting with anybody, with the government, they don't collect envelope, is the ASU. If any Nigerian tells you that ASU is a bad organization, maybe that person must be a government this thing. We know they have integrity and they stand by what they say. You see, but every other union has that challenge. But if Ajero and his team are able to at least get something out of this strike, you understand me? I do believe that it would boost the confidence in among Nigerians, and even in the rank and file of the labor unions, you know, and among Nigerians, really, that labor actually, because labor is supposed to be the one body that fights for the interests of not just labor, but the interests of Nigerians as a whole. If you look at this fuel issue, it happened like this in Kenya, and the people went on strike, and the government reversed the increment in the price of petroleum. So let us see what is going to happen. We are still in the facing.
All right, if you are joining us, this is Melting Point on Memories 96.5 FM, Monday edition, and we're looking at the current economic situation in Nigeria as regards the nationwide strike embarked upon by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC. the effect on ordinary Nigerians, and of course your views is respected and is welcomed on the program. Earlier I had advised somebody to call us about now to be part of this discussion. Now, Otuekong, in view of this strike, the Attorney General of the Federation is saying that the end has not been heard or seen in the negotiations for now. That they have actually pleaded with the organized labor, and in his words, my attention has been drawn to the statement made on May 31 that the leadership of NLC-TUC declaring nationwide strike from today, June. And he says negotiations have not been completed because they have been advised to be mindful that federal and state governments were not only employers to be bound by a new national minimum wage. Hence, it was vital to balance the interest and capacity of all employers of labor in the country. And Osifo also was quoted as saying that they have heard from the federal government that they now want to relate with the other organs of labor. And so some said the strike is premature and illegal.
Well, I don't know when a strike is premature. Okay, you can talk about being premature, but not on this one. I don't know when a strike is illegal. I think workers have their rights to. And this is not, this negotiation is not supposed to have been, to have started now or to be taken to its crescendo at this moment. Nigerians are so fond of fire brigade approach to everything they do. The government knows very well that by April of 2024, the old agreement of 30,000? Yes, the old agreement, it was 5 years old, and that by law, they're supposed to have negotiated by the end of April, by the 1st of May, we should have been having a new salary structure that would take care of workers for the next 5 years. You don't wait until when the day elapses before you start negotiation. You see, and it is not as if to say labor had not notified them of the need for them to have a sit down with labor and negotiate on this issue right from when Mr. President came in, right from when he removed fuel subsidy. This matter has been on ground. So the idea of telling Nigerians that we are still negotiating doesn't make any sense to me. I think it is still the manipulative nature of the government at the center against the ordinary Nigerian, which is still in play now. Mr. Fakumi can say that. And you know, one other thing I would just want to say, you may say it is a cheap shot on the Attorney General. It is this same Fakumi who was the lawyer for the government who were fighting against autonomy for local government. If you can remember, he was the son, the SAN, who was in representing the different governments across the country. Again, even though he has now tried to redeem himself by taking the same state governments to court over that same issue, but he was the same man. So I think if he could do that as of that time, I don't think I should have confidence that he is going to do or say the right thing over this matter. I think it is simply trying to, how would I say, pulverize labor, the Nigerian people further by the, how would I say, not regarding the position of labor over this matter. Because even coming to the table with 48,000 is insulting to the Nigerian person. You know, how can you start negotiation? Look at the inflation. 48,000 cannot even buy a bag of rice. Even the 60,000 they push on the standard cannot buy a bag of rice.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Now, the organized labor have gone on strike for two major reasons. Tariff. Let's talk about the wage issue now. What they are demanding for, that's what the workers are demanding for, versus what the federal government is offering. They are very, very distant.
Poles apart.
They are very, very distant. They are miles apart. Do you see a certain, eventually, compromise or an agreement? Because people are saying that what the organized labor is asking for, even at their on 494, is not realistic. Some people are saying, arguing that you cannot say that the country cannot pay 494,000, but they can pay in trillions for the Lagos-Calabar highway and pay in billions for the Hajj. So what do you mean by the country it cannot pay 494,000 naira? So there's a lot of arguments on this. Do you foresee a compromise? Do you foresee a balance at some point?
You know, sometimes it is difficult to negotiate with somebody who comes in with unreasonable positions. Even though one could say that the 600,000 that Labour came out initially looks unreasonable. But when you look at the cost of things in Nigeria and you have to convert that amount of money in dollar terms or pounds or euro terms, you see that it is still nothing. You see the point? It is still not comparable with what is going on around other African countries. We are not even talking about Europe or other nations who have a higher per capita income. So the fact is this, but why should the government come in from such a very unreasonable and unsound decision, you see, of starting at 48,000? You know, because I was even looking at it from this level that, okay, government may come in at maybe 100 or 80,000. I looked at what Lagos State and Edo State, the positions they took. Lagos State have started paying 70,000, Edo State have done the same. And I said, okay, this must have been something they had agreed behind the scenes, that this is going to be the minimum wage. And states like Edo State, that is not having so much IGR compared to Lagos and doesn't have so much on the federation account, can pay this amount of money. It means they have agreed. But for them to just come up and not only to come up with that amount of money, 48,000 initially, but to consistently refuse to move forward at a pace that could make labor to come down and there to be a compromise between the federal government and labor. This is where I am worried. You see the point? In as much as you could say that labor, the amount looks unreasonable, but the truth of the matter is this: we all go to the market to price things. We say in Ibibi, you know, you come out with your own, but we keep on negotiating. The seller will say, I will sell at 10 naira. The buyer will say, I will buy at 2 naira. But you come up to a meeting point. But you notice that even in that negotiation we do in the market, if the buyer is unreasonable or the seller is unreasonable, you know what actually happens at the end? The parties involved would go their separate ways. And this is where we have problem, because they cannot afford to go their separate ways like it has happened today. Today is a sign that labor and government have not been able to come to an agreement. Will they be able to do something on this? Certainly they don't have a choice. At the end of the day, there has to be a compromise. But the problem with that is that, are we not going to, how would I say, a lot of things may have gone under the bridge by then. A lot of things could have been destroyed, confidence gone, anger over the obstinacy of the two sides. You see the point? How would it damage further, you know, the confidence of Nigerians in both the government and labor? Are you getting me? This is the challenge we are going to have going forward. But will they actually finally come to a settlement? Certainly I do believe they will. But the problem is that there will be serious fallout, you understand me, in the kind of settlement they come to. Look at what is happening in ASU. You know, ASU were, man, let me use the word, I'm twisted into the position. They were even deceived. When I heard today that the Senate had met with Labour, and I said to myself, I hope we are not going to have the same situation that the current Chief of Staff to the President, Bajabia Miller, who was the Speaker of the House of Representatives, as of then, he had an agreement with ASU. But what he agreed with ASU, that he's going to make sure that the government comes into an agreeable settlement with ASU. Didn't happen. You know, ASU were deceived to call up the strike, and they did not even have the strength again to remobilize themselves and go back on strike. You see the point? So is it where we are going to, where the government would settle this matter by simply untwisting labor to a settlement, or deceiving them into a settlement? Is it where we are going? Because labor cannot sustain this strike for as long as we think. The government can sit on the street. After all, money is coming in. You understand me? Except where they are getting this money from is being touched by this strike. That is the only time you are going to see the federal government sit up to take action over this matter.
All right. The program is Melting Point, and we're here discussing the current strike by the NLC. Wale Edu, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, says the demand by labor unions is unaffordable across the board. That is, the 615,000 minimum wage demand is unaffordable. Is it really unaffordable, or it is the position of the government not to look and make sure that the welfare of the masses and the workers is topmost in their mind? Adamant refusal by the government not to look at the welfare or services of the workers, or are they want they shall go ahead, or they want to politicize it?
Well, I don't think it is politicization. I think it is simply,
kindly hold on. Let me add to Old Sailor's question, because time is running out, and my next question actually relates to his. Now, apart from the fact that people are saying that the government can afford it, the issue of living wage is not even a conversation right now on the federal government side. Meanwhile, Nigerians are asking for a living wage that is more preferable compared to a minimum wage. So what would you say in addition to that?
Answering what Oselo said, you know, how the challenges of Nigeria, why you have big government in a country that doesn't have money, is shocking. You know, the problem with Nigeria is not that the monies you pay to labor would cause a problem in the economy. The problem is that you have an overbloated government, which is being used as political settlement. You have people in the National Assembly who are overpaid for actually doing nothing. Look at what happened during the national anthem stuff, the bringing up of the former national anthem. How much was spent by the two houses of assembly to do that? The sitting allowances alone must have run into several millions, possibly 100 million. You see the point? So this is the reason you have large government. Let us look at what other government have done. I've said it here that when you look at a country like Argentina, it's a democracy like Nigeria. It has a federal system like Nigeria. But when the president came in, Javier Milei, on the 12th of December, the first thing he did was to reduce the ministries in that country from 18 ministries to 9, cutting it by half, cutting government, the cost of governance. You know, he sold off all the presidential jets. And you know, he was able to reduce cost. He was able to reduce inflation in that country in just 3 months from 300% to just 15%. You know, so why is it that it is only Nigerians? Like, I watched a video, there's a friend of mine who said I should even send a video of where Mr. President was talking about Nigerians must sacrifice. It is only Nigerians who are sacrificing. The last time I saw the convoy of the president, it was 120 vehicles just for one man. How much is it to even fuel those vehicles? Ministers, how many cars do ministers run? You see the point? Basic necessities, because it is being used to pamper those in power, and that is the challenges we are having in this country. You know, so we have to look at that first. If you want the people to sacrifice, you yourself, you must be seen to be sacrificing. Now, why is it that the government at the center is not paying itself with the same minimum wage that every other person is being paid? That is the thing. So the problem of bringing the economy down because of that thing is uncalled for. It's not even realistic for somebody to look at this issue from that perspective. Absolutely wrong. I don't accept what Wale Edun is saying is voodoo economics that is telling us, and it is not real.
To my question of living wage, responded to that.
What did you say about the living wage, please?
Nigerians are agitating for a living wage, saying they deserve a living wage, and this is not a conversation right now on the federal government side of the table.
You have a federal government that doesn't even mind about how Nigerians are living. How would they even be talking about the living wage? You see, this
what would you? Okay, go on.
Yeah, these men don't even know the first thing about leadership. This is the simple thing we need to understand. There are a lot of things that happen in a country. Imagine why a government that believes that changing a national anthem has any positive impact will have any positive impact in even making us be patriotic. See, patriotism is simply the love you have for your country. You see the point? And there is nothing like love in a vacuum. For you as a father, you go home now, your children are waiting and expecting some, you have to buy bread or buy this and come home. If you don't show them love, you can't expect them to love you. You know, so when you see nations where you see the flag, the Americans love their flag, it is because every American knows that this is the home of the brave and land of the free. You can become anything, and opportunities are given. You know, in Nigeria, where are the opportunities? Like we say in this. So things that should be done are not done. So living wage in this country, as far as this government is concerned, it will never be an issue, a topic of discussion, because they don't even understand what you're talking about. So that is the way I look at how they operate. So we shouldn't even be bothered about. We should see how we can get whatever we can get, labor can get out of the government, not just from getting more higher salaries, but getting this government to do certain needful to put structures on ground that can transform the economy. In fact, that should be the living wage for Nigerians.
You know, that actually led me, I'm not going to ask this question again because we are running out of time. But then again, Nigerians are also saying that if the federal government is saying that they don't have enough money, then they should, the organized labor should make bolder statements, like the executives and the National Assembly should shed weight in the area of superficial allowances, constituent allowances to National Assembly members, and then reduction in aid so workers can earn more. There's a lot on this table of strike, but let's quickly move into what happened on Biafra Day. Now, markets and other public facilities have been reportedly closed down as tension heightens in parts of Abia State, following the gruesome murder of 5 military personnel by gunmen suspected to be members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. There are reports that the bloodthirsty gunmen, who have been wreaking havoc in the southeast, attacked a military checkpoint in Ubikabia Junction, Ogbo Hill in Obingwa local government area on Thursday. Now, the incident, which claimed the lives of 5 soldiers, occurred when members of the proscribed secessionist group were forces sit at home at the region to mark the 2024 Biafra Heroes Day. The daredevil gunmen also destroyed 2 patrol vans belonging to the military. Otueko, now to you to get your perspective on this. How did you react to the news when you heard it, and does this have any relationship with the IPOB's agitations right from time?
Yeah, certainly, when you look across the southeast, the act of violence in that area is directly linked to the agitation, the IPOB agitation, the Biafra agitation. In fact, this is what it was called for. And you see, unfortunately, we have a government that doesn't understand exactly what is needed to be done to sort out the problem. And increasingly across the country, if you notice, there is this daring attitude of non-state actors to attack men in uniform. The most feared people in uniform in Nigeria has always remained soldiers. And wherever they walk into a place, you notice that the people kind of disperse. But non-state actors are becoming more emboldened to take actions against the men in uniform. And it should worry the men who are leading this country, because Nigeria is slowly and gradually descending into chaos. Over time, look at what is happening in different parts of the country, from the northwest to the northeast to the north central. Recently, last year, I think, was it last year or this year, about 30 soldiers were killed in the state of Niger. Niger, sorry, not in Niger. Niger Republic is a country of its own. Niger State. And then you had the immediate one at Delta State. And now you have this one at Abia State. You've had several incidents in Imo State and other parts of the country where they are being attacked. I mean, it used to be a few and far apart, like it happened in Akwa Ibom some years back. But you see that there is this consistency now. The period of these things happening are closer. You know, you see this one happening this month, in the next 2 months it's happening there. It's going to keep on happening until we have a government that will sit down and say what exactly needs to be done to sort out this problem. Everything cannot be seen, solutions to every problem cannot be seen through the barrel of a gun, which is what we have been doing thus far.
All right. Yes, pretty soon we'll give the phone lines to you, but let's still come back to our guest in the house. The IPOP members are claiming that they are pointing accusing fingers at the politicians that they are behind this attack. Do you think it's a mere coincidence?
You see, I've said here in this studio, like it is normally said in Nigeria, Nigeria is a massive crime scene, and everybody commits crime in an area it has an advantage over. People exploit. You know, there are a lot of theories over this issue. I've heard certain school of thought who say that, look, there are certain people who wants to make sure that Alex Otti doesn't succeed as a governor. He's by far the best governor in this country thus far in the past 1 year. He has done more things than any other governor is doing. And
from your perspective,
no, it's not from my perspective. Look across this country.
Some are fingering the Borno State Governor, Professor.
Borno State Governor has been there for 5 years now, so you cannot measure. But when you look at what this man has done in the past 1 year, what exactly is the Niger State Governor done? He has not really done anything.
Agriculture.
It's agriculture. Have you really seen the impact of those things yet? We have not seen it yet. So until we see it, I don't have confidence in that man. I mean, providing that kind of leadership.
And our governor, the golden governor.
Yes, our governor is trying. I can say that, but I can tell you that Alex Otti, by just some certain few acts he has done, he has put on ground more structures than any other governor. You understand me? The impact of his investment in Aba alone is going to have a reverberating effect, not just in Abia, not just in the house in the southeast, but across the whole of this country. Aba is the industrial hub of this country, not just in the southeast or the south side. It is the industrial hub of this country, and the impact of what it's doing is good. It's far-reaching. That is the point. It's going to impact Akwa Ibom State. It's going to impact every other area in this country. So to me, I can tell you that without any controversy, I'm not saying we don't have, our governor is doing well, that certain sectors our governor is doing well. The challenges they had in Abia State was more than what Akwa Ibom State had. You understand me? But he has hit the ground running and done many beautiful things. So I think this is part of the theory people have come in to see. But you know, my challenges to the government at the center, these things keep up. You have tried everything to make sure that the sit at home stops, but it shows from every indicator that, look, these challenges is at the heart of the people. You know, why don't you look for a non-military solution to this challenge? You know, because the more these guys keep on, as the year goes by, they become more emboldened. You know, they keep on acquiring more arms and ammunition. They become better trained, you know, to take this action. And this action cannot be solved through military actions alone. These challenges rather cannot be solved through military actions alone. We need to have a seat on a round table. You want these people to remain as part and parcel of the country. Are you getting me? Why can't we sit down and talk? This is where the problem is. Take your mind back to the reason for this sit at home. It is simply because Nnamdi Kanu is in detention and they say release him. Now, courts have even said, set this man free. You are still holding him there. You are not even ready to sit down with him and discuss, or with the people. Now, look at what happened in Imo State. Anybody can form a group, you know, and state action, they will say IPOP or ESN. Are you getting me? So we keep on playing into the hands of non-state actors, playing into the hands of politicians who wants to use this thing to score cheap political points. That is the whole thing I'm saying. So the government needs to sit down and say, look, you know, in any situation, you have to learn how to use a stick and carrot approach. If you use military option, you have to use the other option, which is sitting down and negotiating with the people. You have to use other actions like a development, giving these young men things to do. Look at what is happening in Burkina Faso. You understand me? The man went in, they poured in money into development, and most of those young men who were given kobo to go and join these non-state actors, they're not doing it. They're back into their farms. You need to take action. Today, you know, Nigeria is going to face a lot of terrorist attacks very soon, because from what I just learned between yesterday and today, you have these guys from there's an intense action in Burkina Faso and Niger Republic against terrorists, and they're moving down right now, the government of Benin Republic is carrying out intense actions against terrorists in the northern part of Benin Republic. And where else do you think those people will go to? They can't stay in Niger Republic, they can't stay in Burkina Faso, they can't stay in Benin Republic, they won't stay in Ghana. The next port of call will be Nigeria. So we need to be prepared. We cannot be fighting in all fronts. And you know, when I heard the story, peacekeeping, what kind of war situation are we having within the country that you send soldiers? Peacekeeping, from what I understand, is always sending soldiers to outside the countries to go and sort out and keep the peace when there's total breakdown of law and order in that country. And I don't think that is the situation we have in Abia State. And going by what is going on, you know, the army was talking, we are going to revenge. And thank God the governor went there, visited them, and spoke with the leadership of the military in that state, and they have toned down their languages because people were just running out of their places. You know, the moment you hear a soldier is killed, the next thing you do is pack your bags and leave that place. Because when they come in, you know, they will behave like colonial soldiers who, if you kill a colonial soldier in Uyo here, they will come in and burn the whole of Uyo. That is the way we act, and those things does not really help the government position. Why? Because you are not sorting out that problem. The victims of your action are not even the actors who committed that heinous crime. You know, it is innocent people. And then we have to ask for that question. Where is the place? They are talking about deploying intelligence to fish out those people. Why was intelligence not deployed to make sure that before the soldiers were killed, that action would have been nipped in the bud? Why was it not deployed? Why do you always react after the fact? Why do you always wait until when a thing is done and then you start deploying intelligence? Right now, from what we are hearing, from what the papers are reporting, they have entered parts of that area and to arrest young men. And I can bet you, knowing Nigeria the way it is, there are a lot of innocent young men who have no hand in whatever happened, who are now in detention.
If it is,
okay, let's open the
if it is just young men, it will be all right. But young girls are also arrested, and we're wondering if the girls are also suspects, and what could be their role in a situation like that. Of course, the businesses are grounded already. Yes. The helicopters are flying over, so the economic hub of the place has been seriously
You can imagine how billions of naira is lost in just these few days.
Okay, now let's go for our calls. 0803 0857755. You can call. Okay, we got one.
0809 066 6909. That's the second number. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you, Akpan.
Yes, good morning, Akpan.
Good morning, Lady Sharon.
Good morning to you, Akpan.
Good morning, Big.
Good morning, sir.
Akpan, you're welcome.
Yeah, if the Minister of Finance wanted to say they cannot afford more than 50,000, then we should blame on the intelligence of Nigeria. Is it not the same government that paid 30,000 and then paid? Is it not Lagos State, which is the sub-unit of Nigeria, and those states that are paying 70,000? Is it not the same state country that said there's no money that gave 52 billion to senators to buy a SUV car? The truth is that they feel that it is their turn. They must settle their election expenses. But let them remember that this thing is a commonwealth. All of us have a stake. But what happened in Aba? So let's go and eat it. When they were not known as IPOM, they were known as Mosor, which was led by Rapu Wadwike.
Yes.
He settled them, and he also settled the Niger Delta military. And today they are earning some 55,000 naira monthly. I think that it is a bribe on the part of government to feel that it's a slide for people to make agitation. I think they should come to a round table with those agitators so that life and property will be safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Akpan. We're taking up some more calls. 0803 085 7755, 0803 085 7755, or 0809 066 6909. That also serves as our WhatsApp number, so you can send a message to the number The number again is 0809 066 6909. We're also streaming live on Facebook. The handle is Memories 965 FM. Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Water.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hello, what I want to say this morning is I am totally in support of the level going on strike. Because we have to keep at this government, it's like they are losing food. They are running out of ideas. They don't even know what to do to better a lot of Nigeria. So then they will get refinery work. December it will work. February it will work. March it will work. Like that, they keep on ruling on. So what I want to say is that don't support of the level, let them go on strike. They should not go back. Thank you.
Alright, let's take this other call.
Okay, we have another call here. Hello, good morning. Yes, nice to have you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Joseph Rubicom. I am calling from Ibadan.
Welcome. What's your take?
Yeah, first of all, good morning. Welcome the guests in the house.
Morning, sir.
My take is very brief. On the NLC strike, I want to say that anything short of at least 100,000 will not be good, because the federal government, if they will actually lead us, I mean, with a kind of Reverend Moro's description of who a leader is, they should not be thinking of paying workers 60,000 when some states are even ahead of the paying 70. So I would believe that even if Labour is settling for anything, because I know that the 400 plus may not be feasible, for them to accept anything less than 100 must come with a reason. Please, help me. I know you have contact with the Labour, at least in a Bible, if not outside. Tell them that for them to accept anything less than 100,000, they should give the federal government this condition. One, that they revert to what the price of petrol was sold before May 29. Two, that the border be open for food. Three, that electricity tariff be revised. Anything short of that, people should not accept anything less than 100 or 100 plus. That's the number one. Please, sir, don't do me a favor and extend it to them.
All right, thank you. Let's take another call. Thank you.
Number two, on the issue of IPOP, sir, I want to tell you very categorically that it's unfortunate that in this country, some people are treated as if we are Nigerians. Others are treated as if we are different. That there are two types of Nigerians. Elsewhere, I am not saying that it is right to kill the military. I'm not saying so. But when these things happen, we see a kind of quietness. And when it happens here, hell is very loose. Why? Biafra is a thing of the mind. Please. Biafra, as far as I'm concerned, is a thing of the mind.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You're out of time. We're out of time. You have to go. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, ma. 30 seconds. In 2021, I came across ESN, and they never want our convoy in the east. They did not. I can tell you categorically, they did not. Last year, something happened that Enquiry were picked, that they were the ones who were spreading the problem and then accusing IPOP. It was announced. Nobody did anything about it.
Thank you very much.
Let our government begin to see the truth and say, or else this country will.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't say so. We are still Nigerians and we live together. All right. This should be our last call. Hello. Good morning.
We lost it.
Lost it.
Oh, Tiago.
Okay, all right. There's another here. Hello. Good morning.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good morning. I'm calling for you.
All right, please, in 1 minute, you can make your point.
What I want to talk about the strike that the people are passing on. I want to say I'm fully support of that side that they should continue. They should not continue to do as they normally do before. They should stand on to bring positive results on this strike that they are going.
All right,
Because if you want to compare them, even the funding that they are talking about, it's not compared with what senators and other presidents, even governors are taking.
all right,
They are having family as other people have done it. They attend work as other workers are attending work and they close the same time and the other workers are closing. So why is it that they want to even the people are slave and punish them and then they are going home with huge amount of money which they can do what they want in their family.
Points taken. Thank you.
Don't worry about their money.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your solidarity. Thanks for your solidarity. Okay, thank you, Sharon. I don't think we can accommodate.
We can't take more calls.
calls.
We're running out of time. So Twekong, give a minute to respond to these calls so we can wrap up.
Well, all I want to tell Nigerians is this: that what Nigerian is a deliverer. That is just all. We don't need a revolution like people say. If you look across Africa today, look at Burkina Faso, look at Niger, Rwanda, look at Mali, look at El Salvador, look at Argentina. They all have deliverers, whether it is democracy or whatever. And that will be the solution to Nigeria's problem. That is all.
Leadership.
All right, thank you very much, Twekong, for your time once again on the morning ride, the Monday's edition.
Thank you for thanking me.
Hopefully we see the end of this strike and then we get to discuss how the outcome favors the workers.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Thank you very much. On Nigerians at large, let me not even just limit it to workers, because of the people that are not working, what next? What do they say to them? All right, thank you so much for listening to The Melting Point on Memories 96.5 FM. My name is Sharon Mandor. We're going to be enjoying good music before 11:30, where we'll bring to you Tax and News. Stay with us.
All right, I am ANIEFIOK. NKEREUWEM. Thanks for being part of the program, and I do hope you'd have to arrange your domestic chores in view of the ongoing strike. So rearrange yourself and position yourself for the strike. Thanks for listening. I am ANIEFIOK. Good morning.